The space around the ruined station was completely silent, like even sound had died there. Broken metal pieces floated slowly in the dark, turning like dead leaves in a frozen wind. Inside this silence, something small was moving. A young alien girl was hiding behind a broken wall of steel and glass. She was starving. Her body was weak, and her breathing was slow, like she was fighting to stay alive with every breath. Her skin had a faint blue glow, but it was now dull and fading. Her eyes were wide with fear, always watching the empty space around her. She did not know how long she had been alone. Time had lost meaning in this place. Food was gone. Water was gone. Even hope was almost gone. She pressed her small hands together and whispered a prayer in her language, but her voice was too weak to carry far. Outside the station, war had destroyed everything. Her people were gone. Her home was gone. Only silence remained. Then, a sound changed everything. A deep mechanical hum moved through space. It was not natural. It was a ship. The girl's body froze instantly. She pulled herself deeper into the shadow, trying not to breathe too loudly. A human ship appeared near the station. It was large, dark, and heavily armed. The lights on it scanned the area like cold eyes searching for life. The alien girl knew the stories. Humans were not supposed to be here. This zone was dangerous, controlled by war fleets and broken empires. No one came here to save anyone. They came only for missions or for hunting. The girl's heart started beating faster. She thought she would be killed if they found her, but then something unexpected happened. The human ship slowed down. Its scanners stopped moving randomly. It had detected something. Life signs. Inside the ship, the human crew became alert. The captain, a man named Commander Raylan, stood in front of the screen. He saw a weak signal coming from the station. Life form detected, the system said. The crew became silent. One officer spoke quietly. "Sir, it might be a trap." Another said, "No one survives out there." But Raylan did not speak immediately. He kept watching the signal. It was weak, very weak, almost dying. Then another message appeared, a broken distress signal. It was not clear, but one part came through. A voice, soft, shaking, "Please." That one word changed the mood in the room. The alien girl, still hiding, did not know her signal was working. She had sent it blindly, using the last energy in her broken communicator. Back on the ship, Rylan leaned closer to the screen. The message continued. "Save my sister." The crew looked at each other. The bridge became tense. Rescuing anyone here was dangerous. It could start conflict with alien war groups. It could bring death to the entire mission. But Rylan did not look away. He asked softly, "Is there any confirmation of who she is?" The scanner replied, "Unknown species, weak biological structure. Young female, no weapons detected." The bridge went silent again. Rylan slowly clenched his hands. He understood the risk. Helping her could break military laws. It could start a war between systems. But ignoring her meant she would die alone in darkness. Then the last part of the message came through again, repeating brokenly, "Save my sister." The alien girl closed her eyes behind the broken wall, waiting for death. She did not know if anyone heard her. On the human ship, Commander Rylan made his decision. He looked at his crew and spoke one sentence. "Change course. We are going in." The ship engines roared to life. The direction shifted toward the ruined station. And in that moment, far away in the shadows, the starving alien girl felt something she had not felt in a long time, hope, but neither side knew yet. This single decision would awaken something far bigger than rescue. It would soon shake the entire galaxy. The human ship moved slowly through the empty space, getting closer to the ruined station. Inside the bridge, the atmosphere was heavy and serious. No one was speaking loudly. Every crew member knew what was at stake. This was not just a rescue mission. This could become a political disaster, or even the start of a war. Commander Rylan stood in front of the main screen, watching the broken structure of the station grow larger. It looked dead from outside, but he knew someone was still alive inside. The weak distress signal was still repeating, "Save my sister." Those words stayed in his mind like a shadow. One of the officers stepped forward. "Sir, we need to remind you. This region is not under human protection. If we interfere, the Zorak patrol fleets will respond." Another officer added quickly, "And we don't even know if this is real. It could be bait." The bridge became silent again. Everyone was waiting for Raylan's answer. He did not reply immediately. Instead, he turned toward the screen showing the alien girl's signal. A young life. Dying alone. As a soldier, he had been trained to follow rules. As a commander, he had been trained to think of risks. But as a human, something inside him felt different. He remembered something from his past training days. A line that his instructor once said, "If you lose your humanity, you lose the reason you fight." Rylan closed his eyes for a moment. Then he opened them again. His decision was forming. The alien girl inside the station was still hiding. Her body was trembling more now. She heard the ship getting closer. She thought maybe they were coming to destroy the station. Fear filled her heart again. She hugged her knees tightly, trying not to cry. Back on the human ship, Raylan finally spoke. "We are not leaving." The crew reacted immediately. One officer raised his voice. "Sir, this is against protocol." Another said, "We don't even know what we are saving." Raylan raised his hand, stopping them. His voice was calm but firm. "I don't care what species she is. I don't care about protocols right now." He looked around the bridge. "If there is a child asking for help, we answer." The room went silent again. No one argued after that. Because everyone understood one thing. He had made a moral decision, not just a military one. Raylan turned to navigation. "Prepare landing drones. Quiet approach. No weapons unless fired upon." The crew quickly began working. The ship adjusted its position. Small drones were released into space, moving toward the station like silent shadows. Inside the ruined station, the alien girl suddenly noticed something. Small lights moving, coming closer. She held her breath. Her heart was beating too fast. She thought it might be hunters or execution drones. But then something strange happened. One of the drones projected a soft scanning light. It was not aggressive. It was searching. Slowly, carefully. Then a voice came through a broken communication channel. It was human. "Unknown survivor detected. Do not be afraid." The alien girl froze. She had never heard a human voice before. It sounded calm, not angry, not violent, just steady. She did not understand all the words, but she understood one feeling: safety. Still, she did not move. Fear was stronger than hope. On the human ship, Rylan watched the scan results. The life signal was getting stronger now. She was close, very close, but still hidden. He spoke again through the channel. "We are here to help you." The words echoed through the broken station. The alien girl slowly raised her head. Her eyes searched the darkness. She whispered softly, even though she thought no one could hear. "Help." Her voice barely traveled. But the system picked it up. On the human ship, the crew heard it clearly. A real voice, alive. Rylan's expression changed slightly. Now it was confirmed. She was not a trap, she was real. A living being, alone, starving and afraid. The mission had officially changed. It was no longer about orders, it was about rescue. Raylan gave the final command. Bring her out, but deep in space. Something else was already watching, and it was not happy that humans had entered this zone. The human drones moved deeper into the broken space station. Each one floated silently, scanning every corner of the dark structure. The station was not just damaged. It was completely dead. Walls were broken, lights were gone. Metal corridors were twisted like they had been crushed by a giant hand. Inside this place, survival should have been impossible. But life still existed. A weak signal kept guiding the drones forward. Commander Ryland stood on the bridge, watching every movement carefully. His face was calm, but his mind was sharp. One wrong step could turn this mission into a disaster. The alien girl, still hiding, saw the lights getting closer. She did not understand what they were, but they were not attacking. They were searching. Slowly, one drone turned a corner and stopped. Its scanner locked onto something, a small heat signature. Behind broken metal panels, the system confirmed it. Survivor located. On the human ship, the bridge became alert again. Ryland leaned forward. Visual feed, the screen changed, and there she was. A small alien girl, curled up in the shadows, shaking, barely alive. Her eyes were wide with fear. One of the crew members whispered, "She's just a child." For a moment, even trained soldiers felt something inside them change. Ryland spoke softly. "Open communication channel." A voice came through again, calm and steady. "We see you. You are safe now." Inside the station, the alien girl heard it. Her body froze. She slowly lifted her head. The light from the drone was not harsh. It was soft. Like it did not want to hurt her. She did not move. Fear still controlled her, but something inside her wanted to believe. On the human ship, the crew waited. No one rushed her. No one forced her. Ryland knew something important. If she felt trapped, she would never come out, so he ordered patience. "Give her time." Minutes passed. The silence was heavy. Then slowly, the alien girl did something unexpected. She took one small step forward, then stopped again. Her hands were shaking. Her legs were weak, but she moved again. Step by step, the drones did not move closer. They stayed still, like they were waiting for her permission. Finally, she reached the open space. The drone light fell on her fully. She covered her eyes for a moment, then looked up, and saw something she never expected. A human face on the screen, not a monster. Not a soldier shouting orders, just a man, watching her with calm eyes. Ryland spoke again. "What is your name?" The translator struggled for a moment. Then the meaning reached her. Her voice came out broken. "Lyra." That one word changed everything. Now she was not just a signal. She was real. A person. A survivor. Ryland nodded slightly. "Lyra, we are going to bring you out." Behind her, the station groaned loudly. A deep metallic sound echoed through the walls. The alien girl flinched. Ryland noticed it immediately. What was that? One of the sensors detected movement. Not human. Not mechanical. Something else. The system warning flashed. Unknown energy signature detected. Approaching fast. The bridge became tense again. Ryland's eyes narrowed. This station is not empty. Inside the station, Lyra suddenly became more frightened. She whispered something. The translator picked it up. "Not safe." "They are still here." On the human ship, silence fell instantly. Ryland understood. Someone else was inside the station. And they were not friendly. He looked at the tactical screen. Energy readings were rising fast. Something was waking up. Something dangerous. Ryland made a quick decision. "Bring her out now, immediately." The drones moved closer this time, but at the same moment, a loud mechanical scream echoed through the station. Metal walls started shaking. Lights flickered back to life, and deep inside the darkness, something began to move toward them. The rescue had begun. But they were no longer alone. The moment the warning alarm flashed on the human ship, everything changed. The calm rescue mission instantly turned into a high-risk situation. Commander Ryland's eyes stayed fixed on the tactical screen. The readings were rising fast. Too fast. Something inside the station was waking up, and it was not natural. The alien girl, Lyra, was still standing in the broken corridor of the station. Her body was shaking again. She could feel it too. Something old, something dangerous was moving closer. The drones around her began to adjust their positions. They were pulling her back slowly, trying to guide her toward extraction. But the station itself reacted. The walls around them suddenly lit up with red emergency glow. Systems that had been dead for years were suddenly turning back on. Metal doors began to close one by one. A deep mechanical voice echoed through the station. Unauthorized extraction detected. Security protocol activated. Lyra covered her ears. She knew that voice. It belonged to the Zorak defense system. The same system that destroyed her home world. On the human ship, Raylan's expression hardened. "The station was not abandoned," he said quietly. One of the officers responded, "Sir, we are being locked inside its security grid." The screen showed new movement. Not just energy signals, mechanical units. Old combat drones, reactivating, sleeping machines waking up after years of silence. Raylan gave a quick order, "Increase drone speed." "We get her out now." Inside the station, the human drones moved faster. They reached Lyra and projected a protective field around her. She flinched as the light surrounded her body. But it was not painful. It was warm, safe. For the first time she did not feel alone. But the station reacted violently. A loud explosion echoed somewhere deep inside. The corridors shook. Metal pieces fell from the ceiling. Then they appeared, dark machines. Old Zorak Guardian units. Their bodies were tall, sharp, and heavily armed. Their eyes glowed red in the darkness. Lyra stepped back in fear. "They found us," she whispered. On the human ship, alarms increased. "Multiple hostiles detected," the system announced. Raylan did not hesitate. "Prepare defensive drones." But then something worse happened. The station locked all external communication channels. The human ship could no longer fully control the drones inside. They were partially isolated. Raylan's jaw tightened. "They are trying to trap us inside." The alien girl suddenly looked up at the drones. She spoke urgently. Her broken language was translated slowly. "This is not just a prison. This is a cage for experiments." Raylan frowned. "Experiments?" But there was no time for answers. The first Zorak unit moved, fast, too fast. It attacked the nearest drone with brutal force. The drone exploded in a flash of light. Inside the human ship, shock ran through the crew. "They are destroying our extraction units." Raylan's voice became sharp. "Return fire, but do not harm the girl." The remaining drones activated defense mode. Energy shields formed around Lyra. She screamed in fear as the battle started around her. Lasers crossed the corridor. Metal walls sparked and burned. The station was now fully awake and fully hostile. But something strange happened in the middle of the chaos. One of the broken control panels flickered, and a hidden message appeared on the human screen. Raylan noticed it immediately. He zoomed in. His eyes narrowed. It was not Zorak code. It was older. Far older. A hidden recording. The message began to play. A distorted voice echoed through the bridge. "Containment breach. Subject still alive. Human interference detected." Raylan's expression changed slightly. "This is not a prison." He looked at the data again, then realized something terrifying. "This is a containment lab." Inside the station, Lyra saw something that made her freeze completely. A hidden glass chamber opened in the distance. Inside it were shadows, not machines, not soldiers, but captured beings, different species, all trapped, all alive. The truth was now clear. This station was not built to hold prisoners. It was built to study them, and now that humans had entered, the experiment had restarted. The Zorak Guardian unit stopped attacking for a moment. Then all of them turned at once. Not toward Lyra, not toward the drones, but toward something else. The human signal source. The human ship itself. Raylan slowly stood up on the bridge. "They know we are here now," he said quietly. The ship shook slightly as energy weapons began charging nearby. And deep inside the station, A new command activated. Primary target confirmed. Human interference. The rescue was no longer a rescue. It had become a war trigger. And Earth had just been marked. The moment the station marked Earth as a target, the entire human ship went silent for half a second. That silence was worse than alarms, because everyone understood what it meant. This was no longer a simple rescue. It had turned into first contact with a hidden enemy system. Commander Ryland stood still, his eyes locked on the main screen. Red warning symbols covered the display. Human origin detected. Threat level, unknown. Containment protocol, active. Inside the broken station, Lyra was still surrounded by human drones. They were protecting her, but the situation was getting worse by the second. The Zorak Guardian units were no longer random attackers. They were moving with purpose, like they had received a single clear order. Destroy the human presence. One of the drones fired a defensive pulse. A Zorak unit exploded into pieces, but more appeared from deeper corridors. It felt endless, like the station itself was producing them. Lyra was shaking again, but now she was not only afraid. She was confused. Something did not make sense anymore. These machines were not just protecting a prison. They were guarding secrets. On the human ship, Raylan suddenly received a new signal. It was coming from inside the station. But not from Lyra, not from the drones. It was a direct broadcast. Someone had opened a communication link. A new voice appeared, cold, controlled, not human, human vessel. You have entered restricted containment zone. Ryland's face tightened. Identify yourself, he responded. A short pause. Then the voice replied. I am Overseer Kale, Zorak Dominion Security Corps. The bridge crew became tense. This was not a normal soldier. This was command-level intelligence. Raylan stepped forward. What is this station? Another pause. Then Kale answered. This is not a station. It is a containment facility for unstable species. Ryland's eyes narrowed slightly. Unstable species? Kale's voice remained calm. Yes, species that cannot be allowed to evolve without supervision. Inside the station, Lyra heard the voice too. Her body went cold. She whispered, They are lying. Raylan looked at the screen showing her location. Explain, he said. Kale responded immediately. You are interfering with a controlled environment. All contained subjects are part of long-term behavioral studies. Ryland's expression hardened. Those are living beings, Kale replied without emotion. Correction. They are test subjects. A heavy silence fell on the human bridge. Even trained soldiers felt uncomfortable now. Ryland's voice lowered. And the girl we are rescuing? A pause. Then Kale answered. Subject Lyra is classified as high-value adaptive specimen. Her survival is required for ongoing research. Lyra froze completely inside the station. Her hands started shaking more violently. She had heard enough. She was not being hunted randomly. She was being studied, tracked, kept alive on purpose, like an experiment that escaped its cage. On the human ship, anger started building inside the crew. One officer spoke quietly. So this entire place is a lab? Raylan did not answer immediately. His mind was connecting everything, the hidden prisoners, the reactivated machines, the containment warnings. It all pointed to one truth. The station was never meant to be abandoned. It was meant to observe life forms under stress. And Lyra's people were just one group among many. Kale spoke again. Human vessels are advised to withdraw immediately. Interference will trigger full containment lockdown. Raylan looked at the tactical map. Zorak forces were gathering outside the station, but something else was happening too. The station was preparing to seal itself completely. No entry. No exit. A perfect prison. Raylan turned to his crew. What is inside that core chamber? The sensors struggled to read it. But one thing was clear. There was a central control unit deep inside the station. And it was still active. One of the engineers spoke. Sir, that core is not just controlling the station. It is controlling the prisoners. And possibly the entire region. Ryland's eyes narrowed. So if we shut it down. The engineer finished the sentence. Everything stops. Inside the station, Lyra suddenly spoke through the channel. Her voice was weak but urgent. Don't leave me. They will reset everything. I will go back. To the cage. That sentence changed everything. Raylan closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. His decision was forming again, but this time it was not just about rescue. It was about ending a system that treated living beings as data. He turned to navigation. Lock onto the core chamber. The crew looked shocked. Sir, that means going deeper into the station. Rylan replied calmly. We are not just extracting her anymore. He paused. Then added, we are shutting this place down. At that exact moment, Overseer Kale's voice returned. This time, colder. You are making a fatal error, human commander. The station began to shake. All containment doors started closing at once. And deep inside the darkness, the true heart of the experiment began to wake up. The entire human ship shook slightly as the station entered full lockdown mode. Heavy mechanical sounds echoed through space itself, like something massive was sealing every possible exit. Commander Rylan stood in the center of the bridge, watching the tactical display turn more dangerous with every second. Red zones expanded across the screen. Containment lock 40%. Containment lock 60%. External access closing. The station was not just reacting anymore. It was actively trying to erase all intruders inside it. Inside the broken corridors, Lyra ran with the human drones protecting her. Every step felt like the station itself was trying to stop her. Doors slammed shut behind them. Walls shifted. New barriers formed out of hidden panels. It was like the station was alive. And it was angry. One of the drones was destroyed by a collapsing ceiling. Sparks flew everywhere. Lyra screamed but kept moving. The human signal in her ear guided her forward. Keep moving. We are not leaving you. Those words were the only thing keeping her from collapsing. On the bridge, Rylan watched the live feed. His jaw tightened. They were losing control of internal navigation. The station was cutting off sections one by one. Then, suddenly, Overseer Kale's voice returned again. This time, it was sharper. You have entered restricted evolution space. Your presence is now a violation of containment law. Rylan stepped closer to the console. Enough with your laws, he said coldly. We want the truth. Why is this station really here? A short silence followed. Then Kale replied. To prevent chaos, Rylan frowned. Chaos, Kale continued. Species without control evolve unpredictably. They destroy balance. We prevent that. One of the crew members whispered. They are controlling entire civilizations. Rylan's eyes darkened. So you decide who grows, and who doesn't? Kale answered simply. Yes. That single word made the bridge go silent. Even experienced soldiers felt something uncomfortable, because this was no longer just war. It was judgment over life itself. Inside the station, Lyra finally reached a narrow tunnel leading downward. The drones formed a shield around her. But then, something changed. The station lights turned deep red. A new voice replaced Kale. Not calm anymore. This one was mechanical, emotionless. Core breach detected. Initiating final containment purge. Lyra froze. She whispered, Purge. The drones immediately scanned ahead. And what they saw made the system alarm explode. Massive energy flows were activating beneath the station. Like something huge was powering up. On the human ship, alarms also triggered. Energy spike detected from core chamber. Rylan's expression changed immediately. They are trying to erase the entire station, he said. One officer asked, including the prisoners? Rylan nodded slowly. Everything. The truth became clear. If humans entered too deep, the system would destroy itself to protect its secrets. Kale's voice returned one final time. You cannot stop what you do not understand. Ryland stared at the screen. "We understand enough," he replied. Then he made the most dangerous decision of the mission. "Prepare jump insertion." The crew turned instantly. "Sir, that's impossible. We can't teleport into a locked containment field." Ryland's voice was firm. "Then break it." He pointed at the core map. "We are going inside." Inside the station, Lyra reached the edge of the central descent shaft. Below her was darkness. But not empty darkness. It was moving. Something massive was awakening beneath the station layers. The drones scanned it. Their systems struggled. Unknown structure detected. Size beyond station limits. Lyra stepped back. Her voice shook. "What is that?" On the human ship, Raylan saw the same data. His expression changed slowly. "This isn't just a station," one engineer completed the thought. "It's built around something." A long silence followed. Then Ryland spoke quietly. "And we are standing on top of it." At that moment, the station trembled violently. All containment systems reached 90%. Kale spoke again. "Final warning, human commander. Leave now." Ryland looked at the collapsing system on screen, then at Lyra's signal, then at the unknown core beneath them. He gave the final order. "No." The crew went silent. Ryland continued. "We are ending this experiment." Outside the ship, massive human warships began arriving from hyperspace, one after another, dozens, then hundreds. Kale's system detected them instantly. Multiple human military signatures detected. For the first time, Kale's voice changed slightly. "A fraction of uncertainty. This is not authorized escalation." Ryland replied calmly. "No, this is response." Inside the station, Lyra looked up at the shaking ceiling, and for the first time, she realized something terrifying. She was not just being rescued from a prison. She was standing inside the edge of something that could change the entire galaxy. And the core below her was finally fully awake. The moment the core fully awakened, the entire station stopped behaving like a structure. It started behaving like a mind. Deep inside the darkness below Lyra, something massive activated. A low vibration spread through every corridor. Walls stopped feeling like metal. They felt like skin, alive. The human drones around Lyra froze for a split second as their sensors failed to understand what they were detecting. "Impossible structure detected," one system repeated again and again. Lyra stepped back slowly. Her breathing was heavy. Her body was exhausted, but fear was stronger than fatigue. "What is this place?" she whispered. Above her, Commander Ryland watched the same readings on the human ship, but now the data was different. It was no longer just a station. It was a connected system, something vast, something buried under layers of false structure. And then Overseer Kale spoke again, but this time his voice was no longer calm. There was tension in it. "You have awakened the primary containment intelligence." Ryland narrowed his eyes. "Primary what?" Kale replied slowly. "The origin system. The core mind that maintains all containment zones." Silence fell on the bridge. Even the most experienced officers did not speak, because they were finally understanding the truth. This was not just one prison station. It was part of a galaxy-wide system. A system built to observe, control, and contain developing species. Raylan stepped forward. "So Lyra's people, the others, all of them were inside this system?" Kale answered. "Yes." Inside the station, Lyra suddenly heard another voice. But it was not Kale. It was deeper, older, almost everywhere at once. Subject Lyra. Deviation detected. The walls around her lit up with shifting patterns. Not language, not code. Something beyond both. The drones around her tried to move her again, but stopped. They were no longer fully under human control. The station's core intelligence was interfering. Ryland noticed the signal disruption immediately. "We are losing control inside," one officer said urgently. But Raylan's eyes stayed fixed on the core data. Something was forming in his mind, a connection. Then he spoke quietly. This system doesn't just contain life forms, he paused. It studies them. It forces evolution patterns. Kale responded instantly. Correct. Ryland's voice hardened. And if we interfere? Kale answered. The system corrects deviation. Through reset. The word reset echoed in the bridge. Everyone understood what it meant. Erasing entire civilizations. Lyra suddenly screamed as the ground beneath her shook violently. The descent shaft below her opened wider. Light poured out from below. Not white light, not red light, but something unnatural, moving patterns of energy. Like thoughts becoming visible, the drones pulled her back, but the station reacted instantly. A massive force pushed upward, breaking two drones apart. Lyra fell to her knees. On the human ship, Raylan made a decision so fast it surprised even his crew. Deploy full fleet support, now. One officer reacted immediately. Sir, that will expose Earth-level technology. Raylan turned sharply. They already know we exist. Hiding is no longer an option. Outside the station, space suddenly filled with light. Human warships dropped out of hyperspace in massive formation. Dozens became hundreds. Their weapons powered up instantly. Kale's system detected them and paused. Just for a fraction of a second. Then it spoke again. Species escalation detected. But now there was something different in its tone, uncertainty. Inside the core chamber, Lyra saw something she could not understand. A shape forming in the light below. Not machine. Not creature. Something in between. It spoke again. Deviation cluster identified. Human intervention confirmed. Rylan leaned closer to the console. What are you? A long silence followed. Then the core answered. We are balance. Rylan's expression hardened. No, he said. You are control. The core did not respond immediately. Instead, every station across the system began syncing. Kale spoke urgently now. Human commander, withdraw your forces. If full synchronization completes, your species will be evaluated next. Rylan stared at the screen, then at the fleet behind him, then at Lyra's signal, and finally at the awakening core. He made the final choice. Then evaluate us. The moment he said that, every human ship activated simultaneously, weapons primed. Defense grids online. Communication channels open. A unified response across an entire fleet. The core intelligence reacted instantly. Conflict threshold reached. Inside the station, Lyra felt the structure around her shift again. But this time, something unexpected happened. The drones protecting her stabilized. Because human control signals strengthened. Rylan had overridden partial interference by linking fleet-wide command systems. For the first time, human coordination matched the system's scale. Kale's voice returned one last time. This action will trigger full systemic conflict, Rylan replied calmly. No, he looked at the core readout. It will trigger truth. A deep silence followed. Then the core spoke again. Then let the evaluation begin. And in that moment, the entire galaxy's hidden system finally opened its eyes fully to humanity. And humanity did not blink.